I will teach you how to use the E-Leader. Hi, I'm Yog, an X-Rank player. Today I'll be going over gear recommendations, practice methods, and mindsets you should know when using the E-Leader. I'm sure many of you have wanted to use an E-Leader. It's a one-shotting backliner with one of the coolest weapon designs. So you bring it into a match thinking it can't be that bad. But it's bad. Like 20 deaths, 0 kills, what am I doing with my life type of bad. Don't worry, most people start off like that. And I'm going to help you learn how to improve efficiently by the end of this video. First, let's start off with the gear. Here's the tier list I made of the gear abilities for the E-Leader, with the top being the most useful. First, we have Main Ink Saver, which is great because it can increase how many shots you can shoot in a row. Then we have Swim Speed Up, which is great if you ever need to retreat back into your base very quickly or if you ever want to change positions very quickly. Super Jump Up is great if you're ever cornered and you have to jump back to your base. And finally, we have Respawn Punisher, the classic backliner gear ability. The reason why this ability is so popular with backliners is because when you splat an enemy, it increases their respawn time. However, this ability is a double-edged sword because if you get splatted, then your respawn time increases. Which is why this gear ability works really good with these two, because these two allow you to get out of dangerous situations without being splatted. But that's not it. We have a few extra gear abilities that I highly recommend. First being Last Ditch Effort. This gear ability works great with the E-Leader, but especially in splat zones. The way this gear ability works is that it activates when the enemy team reaches 50 counts, and it increases its ability as the enemy count goes down to 30. Its ability is that you can increase how much ink you can use, including your main, your sub, and your ink recovery. This is particularly great in splat zones where the count can move very quickly. And also, you'll be having to ink the zones occasionally if you're in a pinch. And just having more ink overall is always great for the E-Leader. Then we have Object Shredder, which I really recommend for the E-Leader original. This ability allows you to break objects a lot faster. So for example, with the Wave Breaker, normally it'll take you 2 fully charged shots to break it. But with this ability on, you can break it with just 1 fully charged shot. The reason why I recommend this for the original and not so much the custom is because the custom has these 2 bonus abilities that I highly recommend you use. This one is Special Up and increases your Kraken duration, which can be game-changing because that's essentially increasing your immunity time. And I also recommend the sub power up because with the custom, it decreases the jump time to your beacons, and this applies to all of your teammates. So any of your teammates that jump to any of your beacons will have a decreased jump time. This is great if you ever need to switch positions, and it's also great if you want your teammates to jump back to frontline very quickly. You can obviously make this work with the custom, but you just have more things to choose from. And these are also really good for the E-Leader, but it's not like crucial, I think. Having like 0.1 or 2 of any that you like will work. Finally, these gear abilities I just don't recommend because they just don't work well with the E-Leader. This is the gear I currently use for my E-Leader kits, but I might tweak it again if I feel the need for it. Remember, these are gear recommendations, and you can and should tweak it depending on how you feel is best for your playstyle. Okay, so now that you've got your gear, or at least an idea of it, let's move on to some tips. These tips will range from beginner tips to advanced, so stick around. Let's go into the practice room and test your aim. This one is crucial. Adjust your motion and stick control settings. Hit some practice targets and adjust your settings until they feel right for you. Like this. Don't make the mistake of setting yours at +5/+5 unless it truly feels right to you. Just because it's faster doesn't mean it's better. The E-Leader depends on accurate aim. Many professional players play in the negative settings because what matters most is that you hit your targets, accurately and consistently. I recommend you save your settings in your outfits because these settings will save there too. So, now that you've got your motion controls fixed, it's time to enter the matches. With a shooter. Yes, you heard me right. No, I'm not being funny. I'm serious. Especially if you're a non-shooter main, don't immediately bring the E-leader into matches. Use shooters so that you can get used to aiming at moving opponents. I recommend the Splashomatic as it doesn't shake the crosshair when you jump, though most mid to long range shooters would work too. I recommend this as a way to practice your aim as you won't be held back by the steep learning curve of playing backline. But let's say that you're already a shooter main and you're pretty confident in your aim. Here is where understanding how backliners play becomes crucial. If I were to sum up the E-leader playstyle in 3 words, it would be aim, survive, and engage. All 3 you will improve by practicing, but to practice it, it's better to be conscious of it. Most beginner E-leaders are either too absorbed in surviving or engaging, but balance matters. So let's start with survival. Survival is important to all backliners as you are the anchor of your team. You are the last standing defense when your team falls, and you are the point of swift recovery when your team has to fight back. Here's a graph. The black is you, the blue is your teammates, and the red is your enemies. Let's say that you die first by being too forward or unaware, for example. Suddenly, your team has to fight a 3v4, and if you're running Respawn Punisher, your team has to fight in a disadvantage for longer. Additionally, if there are no other backliners, they lose their only anchor and cannot jump back to the fray as fast. On the other hand, if your teammates die first, but you're still alive, stay alive. It makes a difference. You'll most likely be rushed by the enemy team, in which case you want to retreat. If you've been cornered and can't retreat, try to super jump back to your base. By you simply existing and playing defense, when your teammates respawn, their front line is gonna be here. And if you can get a kill here, your teammates can fight a 4v3 and make recovery easier too. But if you die, the enemy team can go much further into your spawn and make recovery much more difficult. Your team depends on you to stay alive. If you're having trouble predicting your teammates, stay conscious of the lamps above to see how your teammates are doing. And if you're more advanced, stay conscious of which enemies have specials active, as many of them will be targeting you, the anchor. Also, it is just as important to watch your teammates as it is to watch your enemies. If you notice no teammates in front of you, you should retreat. If you see a teammate engaging, cover for them, which leads me to my next point. Stay conscious of engaging in battle. If you're too self-conscious about staying alive and staying too far back from where fights are happening, you're forcing your teammates into a 3v4 situation. By being more engaging, you can use the E-leader's strength to its fullest potential. Its range allows you to not only snipe enemies that can't reach you, but also forces enemies into a 2v1 situation by working with your teammates. Again, it's okay if you don't master these immediately, but staying cautious of these tips will help you improve in matches. Now, let's move on to more advanced and complex tips. These tips will help make a difference when you've advanced into higher ranks, like S or even X rank. Learn how to play with the half charge. This is particularly important if you're trying to cover for your teammates. If you see your teammate fighting an enemy and you see the enemy has lost some health visually, use a half charge to support your teammate. The next step is hiding your laser of sight. Hiding your laser becomes almost crucial in higher ranked matches as your enemies will be more conscious about avoiding you. Seeing the laser is a reminder to them to make extra movements, making them harder targets. It could also put a target on your back by reminding them of your existence and where you are currently placed. Peeking helps a lot to combat this. Peeking plays off the fact that all Inklings are right-handed. Therefore, you should peek from the right side as it will let you shoot enemies while covering most of your body, and then swiftly move back to hide your laser. Next, this may be obvious, but use your sub and special. Though I do think one kit is superior to the other, both kits work really well with the E-Leader. Use them to your advantage to increase your ability to survive and engage. With the original, use traps on places where the enemy frequently passes or places where they try to sneak behind. Use the wave breaker to stop the enemy team from pushing frontline. With the custom, use beacons to swiftly change your position and allow teammates to jump back to the fray. Use the Kraken to punish enemies rushing you or to create opportunities for your team to push. Next, always know where your threats stand. This was a steep learning curve for me when I first brought the E-Leader into X rank, as I didn't get matched with good enemy E-Leaders as often before. A good E-Leader will use peeking, so if you forget their existence or don't know where they are, you will be splatted. However, if you keep a mental note of where they are consistently, you'll notice when they're distracted and be able to easily take the kill. Next, engage in battle rules efficiently. Just because you're the E-Leader doesn't mean that you don't need to ink the splat zone. The E-Leader is actually pretty decent at inking, so if your teammates are busy rushing frontline or you have a few counts left, ink the zone! That being said, be smart about when to engage. For example, a lot of people seem to believe that backliners always have to ride the tower. This isn't always the case though. On certain maps, a different position will make you more useful in moving the tower. Think about when it is more important for you to participate directly in the battle rules and when it is more important for you to be getting kills. Finally, have fun. You don't always have to play the E-Leader to get better at it. If you're on a losing streak, or you don't want to play a certain rule or stage with the E-Leader, clams, it's okay to change weapons. The E-Leader requires a lot of mental strain, as does most weapons, so take breaks when necessary. Playing other weapons might give you a new insight to improving your own gameplay as well. Alright, so we're gonna watch a match together where I play the E-Leader custom, which comes with the beacon and the Kraken. And we're playing tower control today. Looks like there's no long-ranged weapons other than me, which is great because I don't have to really think about long-range threats for this match. Alright, so here you can see me hiding my laser, and you always want to get your first kill because I think enemies tend to be a bit more careless at the beginning of the match. Unfortunately, I miss, but I see a blaster behind here, so I get the kill and then move forward. Then right here you see an enemy on the right, so I retreat. Now here, the reason why I didn't ride the tower here is because this blaster right here is presenting a threat, and I'm kind of in an awkward position. My teammates unfortunately die, so I try to get a kill, a little reckless, and then here I jump back to my base just because I have that memorized by muscle. So if you can jump back directly to your beacons, you probably should. Getting some splats in here, really good. Remember to ink sometimes so that you can get your special up. Alright, now this area is typically not great for long-range weapons to play if your frontliners are already in here. And that's because any enemies that stand here can very easily splat you. So you can see I jump off there. And I don't know why I decided to go back on. But I got splatted. So I jump back to my beacon, and Fortunately, one of our teammates stayed alive, so our line isn't pushed back too much. Booyah. So I saw that enemy rush towards me, so in the case that it's the blaster, I retreat and see that it is the blaster, so it's a good thing I retreated. Here I'm just looking for enemies to pluck. I don't know why I missed this wave breaker. So here I try to taunt them to throw it at me because I thought I could make a really easy escape, but then I got stuck on this corner, so I died. A few careless deaths. I think these make a huge difference if you can avoid careless mistakes when you're in a lot higher of a rank. And here, since my teammate is right here, I decide to work with them to break the armor. And my teammate was able to get the kill there, so pretty good. I saw the bomb here, and this part is very clearly all orange. So I don't rush in, even though the rest of my teammates are on this side, because there's an enemy here. I see the blaster here, so I try to ink their feet so that my teammates can get an easier kill on them. And then here I'm using peeking again. Ooh, lucky double kill. Alright, so we return to this dangerous area again. And so I retreat. I should have retreated a little faster, but I retreat safely anyway. And look at that. See, this standing right here, you can see a lot more, and you have this range that you can take advantage of that they can't use against you. And now that I got those kills, my teammates can ride the tower a lot more safely. Using my special to cover for my teammates. And here I'm riding the tower because I know there aren't any enemies here, and I don't see any coming down from here either, so the only place they could be coming from is right here, which makes it easy for me to retreat if it's really dangerous. This way, that way, I have a lot of places to escape, so that's why I ride the tower here. I died because I didn't notice the suction bomb. Typically with the E-Leader, I don't think you should be super jumping to your frontline teammates, which is why the beacon works great. And here we go into overtime, and I'm a little mentally weak to overtime, so I start panicking and miss a lot of shots that I should be able to get. And I should have stayed alive to get my Kraken up here so that I can use my immunity to get on the tower. But I didn't, and I died. So again, I don't jump to this beacon even though I came to the same place, just in case the enemy decided to get here a lot faster than I did, and they could have gotten rid of the beacon and me as well. Alright, and we got our Kraken, so it's time to take advantage of our immunity and secure the game. So yeah, it's important to really take advantage of your range, determine where you should be, depending on where your teammates are and how many of them are alive. But we got the win! Here are our results, 16 kills, 4 deaths. This is pretty good because you want to get a lot of kills and not a lot of deaths. So, pretty good match. And that wraps up all my tips I have for the E-Leader. Did you find this tutorial helpful? If you liked me or the type of content I create, make sure to subscribe. I'm a small YouTuber, you can say that you were here before I was at 5K subscribers. Appealing! And also, leave a comment if there's any other weapons that you would like for me to talk about, or you could just leave a nice comment. I like nice comments, it makes my day. Alright, thanks for watching, I'll catch you next time.